Good morning. Good morning. How are you all doing? I'll give you a couple minutes to come in. It's Friday. I actually have two messages for you today. I had one message and God downloaded another one. Don't know where it came from, but that's how it works. You just be obedient, right? When He tells you something, you listen, even if you don't understand it. So I'm going to be sharing two messages with you today for Glow and Grow. But I give you all a couple minutes to join in. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. And I intend on coming back this afternoon or maybe a little later morning for Q&A. I know I've been getting some new subscribers, so welcome. And I just want to give you an opportunity to ask any questions. I know sometimes we watch videos and things come to mind. And you can always message me. You can always comment, email, DM me on Instagram. You have different options, but I want to also give you the opportunity to speak with me live if you have any questions about your particular situation. But welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new here, my name is Nailah Abdullah. So welcome. And let me know your name in the comments where you are. If you see in the background here, I'm in the Caribbean. I'm in St. Martin. I'm from New Jersey. My family's Caribbean and I'm in St. Martin right now. So here we talk about overcoming toxic and narcissistic relationships. If you are either in one or you've been in one, but you're still struggling with the experience that you had. Maybe you're still connected to them. There's a lot of back and forth. You're unsure, or you just still feel like you have not regained yourself after the relationship. That is what we do here, right? And for those of you who decide to go deeper, I also provide other services outside of YouTube to support women, to teach women, to get them through that process where this is not your story forever, where you're not stuck in it for years, which happens to a lot of people. Besides being a mental health professional myself, I have a background in mental health therapy. I'm a clinical social worker. Psychology degree. So I have a background in working in the mental health field, group therapy, individual counseling. However, I also was in a narcissistic relationship for 10 years. 2 of those years were marriage, and I would say that's probably the worst, not probably, it was the most traumatizing experience I ever had. I consider myself to be a pretty strong woman. I didn't have the roughest life, but I didn't have the easiest life either, the most conventional life. And with that said, I feel like with everything that I've been through, this was the hardest experience I've ever been through. And once I got out of it, and I started to think about what I can do online with my expertise in counseling, that's where I found the coaching industry. And initially it was just going to be general life coaching. And then I realized I started helping several women also coming out of toxic and narcissistic relationships. And God said, this is for you. You have the experience. You've been through it. You've overcome it. And you've been helping people get through it. So this is where you need to go. And that's what brought me into this field. So this is what this channel is about. So if any of that applies to you, stick around, subscribe, turn on your notifications, because I do come in live Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I come in live sometimes in addition other times as well. And then of course I upload regular videos. So you can get a lot here to learn how to heal, how to move on from these experiences. These are not normal situations. These are not normal relationships. These are not good morning, love, Ronaldo. These are not regular situations. These are not regular breakups. And a lot of times people don't have the support that they need to get through it. Sometimes you don't have anyone, and sometimes you do have people, but they don't understand, right? So this is what we do here. So let me get into the message for today for Glow and Grow. Like I said, we meet here every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the message for today, like I said, I have two messages. The first message is, I want you to understand the authority that you have. What do I mean by that? Oftentimes, here and in other places, we're often talking about how do you deal with these toxic narcissistic people. And we even call them evil sometimes because their behavior is very evil. Their heart, their thoughts is very evil. They want to hurt, they want to break. And we often talk about what to do physically, right? What do we do with things that we can see? You cut them off, you go no contact, you set boundaries with them, which are all great things. But what we don't talk about enough, and I believe we don't talk about it because it becomes quite controversial in the world that we live in today, but we don't talk about the spiritual aspect. So stick with me. If you don't consider yourself a spiritual person, maybe you consider yourself an atheist, but still stick with me here, okay? Because if you're here, then that means you are supposed to hear this. And if you are spiritual, then some of this may sound familiar to you. But I grew up in the church. I grew up learning about God, about Jesus, and I still did not know this until I became older and someone taught this to me. And what they taught me is I knew that our words are powerful, but I didn't know the authority that we had. You see, for those of you who did go to Sunday school or church and you learned about Jesus, you learned about all the miracles that he did and the power that he had. And a lot of times we hear that and we think, oh, it's just him. But we actually have a lot of power too. Maybe not to the capacity that he had, but we have a lot of power. We have the power to speak life into ourselves. We also have the power to bind demonic spirits, okay? These people who we consider to be toxic and narcissistic, right? We're not calling them that for fun. We're calling them that because they are causing pain. They're hurting people, right? Maybe they're not going out there and murdering people, but they're murdering people's souls, right? And I believe there must be a spiritual. You see, we only look at the natural, the physical, but there's always spiritual first, right? We're spirits first in the body, right? So everything is first spiritual. So we also have to keep in mind, how do we address the spiritual part? We know what to do in the physical, but how do we address the spiritual part? So of course, going into prayer, asking God for strength, asking God for wisdom, asking God for faith, not allowing them to put fear into us, which is what they love to do, right? We need to ask God to download that into us, to give us that strength. Another powerful thing that I was taught maybe about a year ago that I saw really works is when you pray that you bind their demonic spirits. Binding means you're strapping them up. You're holding them down. They can't move. They want to. They're not changing. They're not becoming good. But that demonic spirit in them is now in a straitjacket, right? They can't move. They can't do what they want to do. They don't even understand why they can't do what they want to do. Because you were praying, I bind the demonic spirits that are sent to attack me. I bind those demonic spirits that are sent to attack me. And you repeat that. I find a lot of power in writing it down. Write down your prayers. Get a prayer journal and just write it down. Write it down over and over. Now, let me say this. For some of you listening to this, you may say, that doesn't sound right. That sounds a little woo-woo-woo. Don't let this world fool you and turn you away from God. Because what I see happening is that people are becoming more comfortable practicing things that the media and society is saying, oh, this is the right way to do it. This is cool. This is good, right? It's unconventional. People are comfortable burning sage and sprinkling things and whatever it is. And please know, I am not here to disrespect what you're doing. Okay? I'm coming to you with love. What I am saying is that don't let them tell you that it's okay to sprinkle, to burn sage and to do these other, they call it new age, but it's not new age practices. But don't make them let you feel comfortable to do that, but not use the power of your tongue, the power and the authority that God gave you as you were born into this world. Actually, in your mother's womb, actually. Okay? Know the power that you have within you. Know the authority that you have within you. When you start speaking against those demonic spirits, it will have an effect. And sometimes we don't see it right away, so don't let that turn you off either. But speak to it. Ask God to strengthen you. Ask God for peace. Ask God for faith. And then you go into speaking against those demonic spirits. I've seen it. They want to move, but they can't. You'll be blown away. You will be blown away. Now, let me say this too. We can't only speak and ask God for things, but not live the way He wants us to live. So we also have to work on ourselves, right? It's like when you were a kid or a teenager, you're asking your parents, can I have money to go to the movies? But you didn't do your chores, right? You also have to honor your parents. We have to honor our Father, live according to how He wants us to live. We can't just ask Him for things and not do our part either. Okay, but I want you to know, good morning, good morning. I see you all coming in. Welcome, welcome. But make sure that you know your authority. Okay, you have authority in your tongue. Okay, so that's the first message. The second message, this may not apply to everyone here, but the second message is, if you are currently in a relationship that you know or you suspect, good morning, Joanna, that you know or you expect is toxic or narcissistic. Maybe you're not even sure, but if you're here, more than likely you're here because you see something, right, that's wrong. Make sure you protect yourself from becoming pregnant. I know this is out of the left field, but this is what I heard this morning that I needed to share here with you all. So I don't know who this applies to, but if you are still connected, even if you're not in a relationship, but you're still having engagements, sexual engagements with the toxic and narcissistic person, ideally, you will remove them out of your life. Ideally, you will not engage in any type of sexual acts with them, right? But if you are in a space where you're not ready to break away in that capacity, make sure that you protect yourself from becoming pregnant, because they love to trap you. Their reason for having children is not because they want a family. Genuinely, they want a family for image. They want a family for control. They want a family so they don't feel lonely and look pathetic. Not that if you don't have a family, you're pathetic, but this is how they view things. They're about having an image, right? So if you're listening, you don't have any children with them yet, or maybe you do. Protect yourself from having any more children. Okay? If you do have children already, don't take this message that this is it and you're doomed. No. I know many women who have children with toxic and narcissistic people, and they have been able to get out and to rebuild themselves. It wasn't easy, but they have been able to do it. So no, this is not the end. But I am here to tell you to make sure you protect yourself. Okay? Make sure you protect yourself as much as you can. Okay? Because that is one of the ways that they trap you. And like I said, it doesn't stop you from being able to get out of the relationship, to move on, to rebuild yourself. But adding children and more children and more children to the situation makes it more challenging. All right. I will be back on later for Q&A, more than likely. So turn on your notification bell. That is by going to the subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, get the drop down and you'll hit all notifications so you can see when I come on. Does anyone have any questions for me right now before I go? I see Joanna here, Love here, Amadues, Dominant. Let me know if you have any questions. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll hold on. And if you're just coming in, you can watch the replay. All right, so I'm gonna head out. I don't see any questions. You're welcome, Chris. You're welcome. All right, so I will be back in later. So I just saw a dragonfly. I do not like insects. So I'll be back in later. All right, y'all have a blessed day. Talk to you soon.